Do you want to know how to improve your router table? Stick around and I'll show you how. What's up, I'm Mike with woodshopmike.com, and today I'm going to show you how to add some organization to your router table. This is the Precision Router Table by Craig, and it's a very good system by itself. But what we're going to do today to improve it is add some bit storage on either side of the router. Going to add a box here in the center to help with dust collection, a big drawer at the bottom for additional accessories, and we're going to throw a twist in there to make it better than those that you've seen before. At this point, I have the most difficult part of the project behind me, and that's actually just framing in this empty base of the router table. Since I filled in the inside of the router table where this switch usually gets mounted, I'm having to make a little bracket, and to do so, I'm just using a couple of pieces of 3/4 inch plywood. I'm going to use Star Bond adhesives to glue it together. At this point, I have my hoses for dust collection routed. We have a takeoff here on the back, and that's going to collect dust below the router inside that center box. And then at the Y fitting, it goes up here to the fence. I didn't include any hose going around the side of the router table because I'll use my existing vacuum hose and just plug in right here on that Y fitting. Also, I went ahead and routed the cable for the router into this switch here on the front of the router table. So if you noticed earlier, I simply drilled a hole in the back of the router table for dust collection. I don't currently have my jigsaw in the shop, so when I get that back, I will open that up to the proper size. Now what I'm going to focus on is the plexiglass door for the front of my router table. And that's simply going to go right here in this opening. I'll make some blocks for it to rest up against and some little hand pulls so that I can take the plexiglass door off as necessary. now that the plexiglass cover is finished for the center section, I'm going to countersink and install 4 drywall screws into each corner. From here, I'm going to move on to building the drawer boxes for the router bit storage on the left and right, and then our large accessory drawer there on the bottom. At this point, all the boxes have been made and I'm ready to install them into the router table. Now I'm using push to open hardware by Acrylic, but before I can actually start installing these boxes, I need to build out the left and right hand sides with some spacers to attach the drawer slides to. By using the 1/2-inch Baltic Birch on the left and right panels for my router table, I found that using a piece of 1/2-inch, 3/4, and 1/4-inch plywood is the combination I needed to build these out. And what I'm looking for is that once all these pieces are in, that this is flush or just a little bit proud of the angle iron. Since plywood is always off a little bit in thickness one way or the other, you'll probably have to do a little bit of tinkering to figure out what combination of scraps is going to work for you. Sometimes when you have multiple shims to install for drawer clides, it can get a little bit cumbersome. So what I've done is put just a couple drops of super glue on here to attach these two pieces together. And then I've countersunk and pre-drilled holes for my 1 1/4 inch drywall screws. Once this first layer is installed, I'll then install the last layer. And here again, I've also gone ahead and countersunk holes. And it'll just go on top of that. Now for the particular drawer glides that I'm using, spacing that I've decided to use is 1 1/2 inches from the front of the router table and then 13 1/2 inches from the front of the router table. So I hit this and this set of mounting holes. So as luck would have it, I actually have a piece of scrap plywood that was 1 1/2 inches. So instead of marking this first one, I'm just gonna go ahead and install it. So now I'm ready to start installing the drawer slides for this router table. What I have is just a piece of scrap that's going to act as a spacer to set that drawer slide on. And then I have a piece of 1/2 inch plywood, which is the same thickness that I'm going to be using for the drawer fronts. And I'm going to sit that against my front edge so that way I set the drawer slide back far enough. So what I want to do first is go ahead and take out the center piece. Then I'm going to set the slide up on my support blocks. I'm going to put my scrap piece of plywood here in the front, and I'm going to bring my slide up until it hits that piece of scrap. So with it in position, I can remove this piece of scrap, and then I need to slide forward this middle piece, and I'll run my screws into the drawer slide. With a set of drawer slides installed, I'm now ready to install a drawer box. I'm going to put some 1/4" plywood on the bottom. And basically what this acts as is a spacer to keep the drawer box off of the bottom of the cabinet. So I'll slide the drawer box into place. Now with the drawer slides out just enough so that I can secure a screw in the front hole, I'll run a screw in the front hole on the left and right hand sides of the drawer box. Then I'll extend the drawer box, run a hole in the second slot on the drawer slides. I'll then remove the drawer box from the cabinet, run in the last hole, and then reinstall the drawer box. Let's go through it. With the drawer boxes installed, it's now time to attach the drawer faces. Now for this I'm just using 1/2" Baltic birch, and they'll be inset at the appropriate area for each drawer. To temporarily hold the drawer faces in place, I'm using double-sided tape. So I'll put tape on the back of the drawer face, stick it to the front of the drawer box. And once everything's centered, I'll open up the drawer and run in screws from inside the drawer box. Let's do it. Well, this router table is all wrapped up, and I've got to say I'm so excited about everything I'm able to store inside of this space. Let me show you what all we've done. Now you'll see the front has no hardware on it, and I did that intentionally. I didn't want my pants or my work apron to be caught on anything on the front of the router table while I'm working. So to accomplish this, I used push to open hardware on all the drawers, and I inset the plexiglass window here for the dust collection box, and it's held in place with magnets. Now you can organize this however you want, but what I chose to do is in the top 2 drawers, I have accessories for the router table, like wrenches to change bits, or to adjust the height of the cutter. Now in the middle 2 drawers I have all my router bits. I have 1/4" on the left hand side and 1/2" on the right hand side. Now the foam insert that I used is from Rockler. I have a link below in the descriptions. In the bottom drawer I have other routers and accessories. I have my big plunge router, my trim router, and some feather boards for the router table. Okay, well that's going to wrap us up for the day. I hope you enjoyed the project, and hey, thanks for watching. Now a big shout out goes to Craig for being the sponsor of today's project. And if you want to outfit your router table like this one, make sure you get the free plans from the link below.
Oh, you're still there. Awesome. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, I got another one queued up for you right here. And if you want other awesome content from me, check out those. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit the like and subscribe, and until next time, have fun making something.